Alright, now we have a new chapter of Kaiji. Are you stupid or something, Mom? Kaiji absolutely flummoxed, blown away by his mother's extreme ineptitude with dealing with the situation. Straight up telling the Tei people on the phone, "You can't possibly be my son. My son is right here." Apparently taking in nothing of the story that Kaiji told her. Or if taking in something, then maybe just the confusing parts about getting into a presentation war with who gets to put railroad tracks down to develop their town, or his boss being a computer. Like those things, she seemed to have taken some interest in. But the actual thrust and point of the story, i.e., there's bad people after me and they've bugged all your phones, seems to have meant nothing to her. So Kaiji's mom screaming, "I'll never forgive you," into the phone. Just like Kaiji said, "I will never forgive Tei." Remember? I will never forgive them. He went down into Dogeza. He was so emotional, right? About how he could never, ever, ever forgive Tei. And incidentally, his mom. Yeah, see? Parallels. It's like poetry. It rhymes. Oh, I mean, sure. I'm really angry about someone pretending to be me making phone call fraud. To hold it in right now. You're being wiretapped, you know? Never thought it would be this bad. Okay, so Kaiji scrambling away. Don't forget your seal, though. You might as well just grab it and throw it in your pocket if you know where it is. Because, like, come on. You gotta get something out of this whole disaster of a trip. Something wrong. Whoa. So Kaiji's mom now pretending to be Kaiji to come to the phone. Now, why would she's just doing this to annoy the scammers, right? Like she just thinks that she just wants to prove to these scammers how wrong they are. You know, I see a little bit of Kaiji in this too. I can see where Kaiji gets this indomitable sense of righteousness. That she's so mad at the very idea of these phone fraud scammers that she's now pretending to be her son just to prove them wrong. Like an insane, bizarre gambit that she must have just gleaned as the only path forward to humiliate them. Right? Like, I don't really understand why else she would do this. Yeah. Yo, this is Kachi. Who the hell? Something about how okay, so Kaiji is just about in the most danger that he's ever been in his entire life. He knows that Tei is probably scrambling every available person they have to convene at Kaiji's mom's house. That he has to get the hell out of there. And yet he can't help but stop and listen to his mother impersonate him. And when he hears his mother say, yo, this is Kaiji, the despair that overtakes him in seeing himself through his mother's eyes as someone who says yo just it overwhelms, it supersedes all of his fears. The despair. I don't say yo. 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 I don't say yo. Oh, Kaiji. No, she broke back into her original yelling. She sounds nothing like me. I'll never forgive you, yo. Okay, but think if you're Tei right now, how can you possibly understand this? I think this actually makes them think that Kaiji isn't there. right? Because there's like no reason at all for Kaiji to have his mom answer the phone. I think they would have to assume that Kaiji is more in charge of the situation than he actually is, right? Like they are tracking down Kaiji with such ferocity, such relentlessness, that I think their mental image of Kaiji is one of extreme competence, sneakiness, brilliance, etc., etc., a power that he seems to have over people. So I would imagine that they would think that Kaiji would go into his mom's house and take charge of the whole situation, and his mom would be obedient and understanding, right? That's like pretty reasonable. So if that was the case, one, why would Kaiji's mom answer the phone and get so upset? Like, that shouldn't happen. Why would the TV be left on? That was Kaiji's oopsie, but already they probably are a little suspicious that he would make such an oopsie. Um, and now this happens, and it's like, why would Kaiji get his mom to do this? This isn't beneficial at all. Mom, do a bad impersonation of me and try to so that this suddenly has turned into a very Fukumoto-esque situation. But the problem for Kaiji is that if they're suspicious, it doesn't cost anything to just be like, all right, well, let's just get some people over here and see what's up, right? Like, it's it's not like they are in the same level of kind of complexity, meaningfulness as Kaiji and his mother. They can, if they want, just be like, all right, well, just have somebody dress up like a whatever inspector and roll on through and see if there's anybody home. Right? Get a job. I know how to be temptation. Oh no, is she going to start citing Kaiji's accomplishments in the business world? Is she going to talk about how I used to be a lazy bum, but now I'm like a real estate developer. When I bet on horses, I only do the main race and one more after, and I stop playing pachinko after I lose 5,000 yen. This is like what she wishes was true, right? Like, I don't think that's actually true for Kaiji. I think he probably is the type to play until he's broke and bet on every single horse that he sees all day. But she's like trying to bring about her real son, trying to bring about the son that she but it's still this just like insane compromise. Like, she can't even imagine a Kaiji that doesn't gamble. It's kind of like she's doing the same thing that Kaiji was doing to her, where it has to be somewhat believable. It has to still have elements of the truth. So it can't be that her performance of Kaiji doesn't gamble at all. He just gambles like a reasonable amount. And the Tei group is so confused. I'm so sorry. Oh, excuse me. Oh man. Kaiji apologizing in his head to the Tei monitoring team. He'll never forgive them, but he will apologize. He might ask for forgiveness. You should come back and see your mom at least once a year. Shut up! just shut up! Go die, you lie! They got mad and hung up! They got mad and hung up! Oh, none of this makes sense. I just remember too, because they've also just bugged the house with microphones, right? Which is how they figured out the whole TV situation. So why hasn't Kaiji's mom been talking to her son, who's apparently there the whole time? Why would she hang up and then just go back to silence if her son is there, right? Like like They can't possibly imagine this scenario. So there must be some advantage, maybe, that can be gleaned from the fact that Tei, at least, cannot put together a cohesive picture of what's happening at all. Like, she made a bluff that doesn't make sense with her behavior afterwards, right? So therefore, it must be some sort of complex double bluff. I don't think they would assume that Kaiji's mom is just a big dummy, right? So what are they thinking? Okay, Kaiji's gonna break it down here. I don't know if it's good or not yet. What should I think about this? Tei's monitoring team. Heard the TV on, but nobody was watching. There's nobody around. Nearby, they might have heard faint voices coming from the bathroom area. Feeling that they made a phone call to investigate. What that means is they know that we're on to their wiretaps. Isn't that right? Suspected that, which is why they called the phone just now. It's because she knows about the wiretaps that Mom was talking in the bathing room that doesn't happen. Who with? Could it be the one she's talking to is actually Kaiji? They thought it might have been me, so that's why they called the house. And that phone call was just an impassioned scolding, so of course the enemy hung up. Risai! Shindare! Oh, boss-san! Something like that. I don't know. I don't know what they would say. Okay. So, what does that all mean? Okay, because if they have the theory that Kaiji's there, none of it makes any sense, really. Well, I mean, all of it makes sense up until the phone call, which was just so bad, so ineffectual. Oh, how confusing. Oh, how very confusing it is for Tei. Kaiji could never create this level of confusion in the enemy in any of his gambles. You remember the King Fog? When Kaiji successfully duped Kazuya into thinking that he must be holding back a higher face card, and then Kazuya, for like 5 hands, was just trapped into this disorienting haze? That was pretty impressive. But this one, where the monitoring team gets scolded by his mother while pretending that she's Kaiji, I think is like just beyond comprehension whatsoever. It's not even, they don't even know what they're afraid of. They don't even know. They got mad. They got mad and reflexively mouthed off at her. When that happens, people start thinking sloppily. That's true. Kaiji's mom genuinely pissed them off. The camera got all blurry. Okay, it's fine. Get in a place where they don't even think about what ifs or maybes. They don't even consider that stuff. They just revert back to their normal everyday way of thinking. And those guys usually think is... Screw it. I'm giving up for the night. Let's go have a beer. That's option 1. A lot of Tei people seem to be like that. Option 2. Screw it, I've had it, this job sucks, let's just go bust down her door and see what's up. Tei people often think like that, too. It's one of those two extremes, I think. They're definitely going to say screw it. They're not just going to go back to like, well, that was weird, I guess we should just keep sitting here listening. That all old ladies are nothing but idiots. This is a nice little selection of old ladies that Fukumoto has blessed us with. I'd like to see the face of this one that's being totally covered by a text bubble, but, you know, you can only ask for so much. They do phone frauds like that on a daily basis, and all the more so. They just do some other types of scams. Type of people that do malicious stuff for a living. Common, ordinary, run-of-the-mill, older women living in an apartment. Ah, I see. I see what Kaiji's saying here. Also, I like these two little vignettes of scams that these Tei people could be doing, you know, as like a side gig or perhaps before they started Tei. And I think Kaiji is right in thinking that it's the same type of lowlife that would go for a really shady black debt collection agency and also would be all about the phone scams and stuff. Look at them with their pile of burners, their big ashtray full of cigarettes, and this binder clip thing full of notes that they've researched, and over here ramming into this poor businessman schlep who just wants to start saving up that life. Yeah, Kaiji's mom, the perfect prey. Isn't someone they'd ever think was better than them. They definitely look down at her. That's how they think of her. Make a phone call that sounds like a fraud. Try to find out if her son is there in the apartment with her. She thinks quickly, tells them that I'm there on purpose. Oh, okay, okay. So Kaiji is now starting to see that this might actually be okay. That this might have actually gone better than any other alternative. That for her to say that Kaiji is there is so ludicrous that that is like stricken from possibility. That can't possibly be true anymore. And because now they've just been berated by this stupid old woman, they're probably not thinking at all about Kaiji's genius or whatever, right? So the idea that Kaiji could have told her to say that to put them into the exact scenario they are in now is probably not on their radar. So yeah, I think this might work. Then they start getting excited. They listen in. I don't know if they hear that flimsy imitation. Yo, 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 this is Kaiji. This is so great. Yeah, that must be so crushing. They hear the phone pass hands. She did that little trick. That was good. And they're like, oh my god, is she actually gonna put Kaiji on the phone? Are the two of them that stupid? But no, she is, if anything, even more stupid with this terrible imitation of Kaiji. All of it was quick thinking. Never imagined that it would be that a fast-moving trap, an act of camouflage. Kind of old lady they imagine. Only be able to answer a sudden phone call, figure out it's fraud, and see through it, and then just pretend to be your son. Still have her Tanuki tail exposed. Completely failed to transform. Yes, yes. Thank you for this translation note. That's I love that trope. I love Tanuki. I love the idea of partial transformation and screwing up your translation. Your transformation. Why do I keep saying translation? I guess because I'm reading manga. Yeah. I like the series. High School Inari, Tamomo, Tamu, Tamo, Tamamo-chan. High School Inari Tamamo-chan, about a fox girl who doesn't fully transform into a human. And people know what's up. It's good. Thinking of old ladies makes that phone call completely worthless to them. It's the guy those guys would usually think. Ooh, man, look at Kaishi's mom. Good for her. I think Kaiji's right. That was actually a real deliberate. She just in the moment she had that idea. The way we can make this seem least suspicious isn't for me to say like, I don't know, like I know it's not you or whatever, or like, but to straight up be like, no, my son is here with me. Yo, 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 this is Kaiji. This is brilliant. Okay, so Kaiji spots the surveillance car. Black sedan. There's another way. They're connected to the people trying to abduct me. Into that curtain. Let's make sure. Okay, so Kaiji's mom goes to take a peek. I think they're asleep. So the monitoring team hasn't contacted the lookout team. Wasn't especially any need to alert them. They probably would feel a little embarrassed if they alerted them too and told them that whole story. And they couldn't really say anything much beyond that story because all they really have is evidence that Kaiji's mom does a terrible impersonation of her son. Okay, back to the bathroom. The scene of so much of the last few chapters. What will Kaiji reveal now? It's good. It's good. It's good! Oh, sweet! This deduction Kaiji made was precisely correct. Tei's monitoring team had not even bothered to consider an old lady like Kaiji's mom would be capable of such quick thinking. Eat a late night meal, in their everyday attitude, thinking they were exceptionally intelligent came back to bite them. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, that's spicy. I like that. And I like that Kaiji was briefly kind of duped into thinking this way too. That the first thing he thought, and I thought, and probably most of the readers thought, was, damn, Kaiji's mom is stupid. But no, Kaiji's mom actually probably made the exact right play in that scenario. And just so overwhelmed them with this feeling of stupidity that they could not begin to understand any possible alternatives. Yeah. Good job, Kaiji's mom. Backfired them. Sadly for them, they had valued themselves a bit too highly. They are at best ordinary. They presuppose and neglect things just like anybody else. Wow. All right. Truly intelligent human beings try their best to consciously distance themselves from this fundamental bad habit called I can't read it because it's broken over the line. Why can't I pronounce this word just because it has the hyphenated line break? Presupposition. Whatever. In other words, they're modest. Constantly doubting question themselves, asking the what ifs and maybes that others do not. That is the essential condition for true intelligence. Interesting. This is quite a profound and philosophical statement for the narrator to have. It's rare that the narrator will state things in such certain terms, such unambiguous terms, especially not about big subjects like this. Usually the narration is just kind of talking about the attitudes of the characters, or maybe kind of the correct play in a very isolated incident. But here we're getting a little breakdown of true intelligence. True intelligence coming from not being self-assured, not ever just assuming, but really, really breaking things down again and again, never being complacent. Yeah, this is all true too. Like, I think that's quite a good insight. That it's like the Dunning-Kruger effect. Do you know about that one? It goes a little hand in hand with the imposter syndrome. So basically, if you're dumb, if you're bad at something, if you're ignorant, then you're also ignorant about how bad you are. Like, you don't actually have a good sense of how further down you are than other people. So you're very likely to overrate your own abilities. And conversely, when you actually get good at something, when you actually understand the depth of something, then you're very likely to underrate your real abilities, because you are so aware of all of the things that you have yet to do, you know? It makes sense. It's like a very kind of tragic fact, that is very, very difficult to avoid, unless you just have this constant humility. As long as you just never fall into the delusion of believing that all you can see is all that there is, then you can avoid it. But and the other side of it, though, which is sometimes called the imposter syndrome, where you never believe that you're good at something, because the more you learn about it, the more the things that you don't know about it, but you know that you don't know, the rate of that continues to accelerate relative to the rate at which you gain new information. So it's very, very easy to fall into that trap of thinking that you're actually getting worse as you get better. Both of these things suck, and I don't know what the answer is at all. But this is a good way to at least avoid the first part, to avoid the part where you become arrogant and overassured and make mistakes on that end, is humility. Yeah. Constantly doubt and question yourself. And you'll probably do it for longer than you need to. You might get into what they call analysis paralysis, which makes it good to have good decision-making plans and ways to kind of force yourself into action on top of that. But yeah, there's never any self-harm. Like, there's never any real risk that comes from analysis and comes from consideration. Not inherently. It's only just kind of bad habits that people form around it. So it's better to get into the habit of doing it and of taking it seriously and of really plumbing the depths of things, and then have to try to kind of walk back from that into decision making or to avoid things like the imposter syndrome, than it is the other way around to just brashly run in all the time. And yeah, I don't know. We're just kind of talking around a point here, but in the end, on this night, Tei, starting with the lookout team, continuing with the monitoring team, showed themselves to be nothing but inept. With their huge catch of capturing Kaiji slip away all too easily, and yet not a one of them knows anything about it. They remain wholly ignorant. Kaiji's mom is amazing. It's good. Okay, cool. I like the contrast between this chapter's Kaiji's mom is amazing and last chapter's Kaiji's mom is stupid. And I love the whole drama that played out here. It's so strange. The two of them in the bathroom, these two teams of agents stationed in an apartment building in a car. None of these groups ever actually meeting each other. No one really moving at all. Just this kind of static scene. It has a nice intensity to it. I could see an entire like movie length plot. It has kind of a Hitchcock feel to it, I think, of people just monitoring each other. Yeah, it's kind of like Rear Window, I guess. But, you know, in the end, Rear Window, well, I don't want to spoil it, but there's some action. Yeah. All right, very cool. Thanks again to Fukumoto Crazy for another fantastic chapter. We are inching our way towards catching up. I hope that you enjoy catching up with me, and I hope that you're looking forward to new chapters as well. Okay, bye-bye.